right. Good evening. How is everybody doing? How's everybody's weekend going? Hope everybody is doing well. So, anyhow, before we jump into anything, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches will put you out of here. They'll give you the boot because we're not going to have it. All right. So let's have an enjoyable chat. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can in the chat. I try to do the best I can. So, but like I said again, let's have an enjoyable chat. We'll go from there. So, so before we jump in, if I give it a chance for some people to get in here before we get started, me and Heather went for a nice ride today, so that was fun. Weather was just absolutely gorgeous up here. It was like 86, something like that today. So it was a great day to go for a ride, and so yeah. And it's raining in West Virginia, so uh, I'm like going, well, that's cool. Glad I'm still here, but I'm sure that won't stay that way. But yeah, one day close to the SHTF. Yeah, exactly. I did want to share some information. JJ actually just sent me this information. I'm sure he's fine with me sharing it. Uh, he just got an alert because he's ex Air Force, and he was saying that they're anticipating. And so again, we have to take these things with a grain of salt, okay? Uh, just because who would really be the one doing the attacking? Would it be? And in this case, it's saying there was an alert that it was China. Okay, now that was what may be put out there, but would it really be China or not? But anyway, he said they received an alert that China may go after the internet in all 50 states and try to bring, do hack the internet and sabotage that and bring the internet down in all 50 states. Would something like that surprise me? It really would not. Okay. Would it surprise me if it was our own government doing it? No, it would not. So, again, we have to, you know, it's definitely something to pay attention to. And if something happens, obviously we have to react accordingly. And, but, we'll see what happens with that. But, yeah, very interesting situation with that. So what are we already at 218 in the chat, and I'm only seeing 81 thumbs up. So guys, if you haven't done so yet, please do so to show support for the channel, and thank you ahead of time. I do appreciate that. It really does make a big difference with the algorithm. So the more interaction for the channel, the better. So I do appreciate it for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right, so let's get into this. The president and House Speaker have reached a tentative agreement. Okay, and so now they're saying, well, they're get it into the House and the Senate right away, and hopefully they'll pass everything. We're getting right on topic right now. We're talking about the deal that was just struck between, Biden and the House Speaker as far as raising the debt ceiling. Okay. So anyway, um, they have come to a tentative agreement. McCarthy, yes. Now, let's remember something. McCarthy's on thin ice from day one of getting elected Speaker of the House. There's a lot of people that don't like him in his own party, and so there is people that are not liking this deal that has been struck. One of the things that I saw that they were not removing, that the Republicans initially wanted removed from this deal, And and of course, let's just remember, the 86,000, 86 or 87,000, I can't remember exactly, new IRS agents to go after the rich, right? You don't need that many new IRS agents to go after the rich. There's not that many rich, okay? There really isn't. So, the question that I would have is, who are these guys being hired to go after? Just a question. Now we're being told that, but that was one of the bones of contention with a lot of the Republicans. They wanted that gone. They wanted that out of there. But with the deal that McCarthy has struck with Biden, that they're still there. So again, I would be very curious. I'm not saying that that's not the case. I mean, that's what we're being told, right? And the government would never lie to us, would they? No, of course not. Or be untruthful. I mean, my goodness, let's be, But so, yeah, watch for words, exactly. But you have to realize it's there's just because the two of them have reached a tentative agreement does not mean that the House and the Senate are going to go along and they're going to get the votes to get this passed. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for them to do so because like I said, again, there are people that are unhappy. You know, you know, there's people that are very unhappy with this proposed budget increase and raising the debt ceiling again. They're saying that they're hoping they get it done by the 5th of June so that there's not a default. Uh, I would not be surprised. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. But I would not be surprised if we defaulted, that they did not get things passed in time and that everybody would get on board and be happy about it. I would be really surprised if that was the case. You know, so who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens with all that. But and it's funny the way that their agreement states that the debt is going to be able to be raised until I think it's January of 25. I think it was January of 25. So like right after the elections, so that whoever the new president is when that time comes is going to have a mess on their hands because you're going to probably have a whole lot new senators, a whole lot new congressmen, and stuff like that. So, because we already know now, Feinstein is saying that she's going to retire when her term is up. And so, I mean, if she doesn't die first because she's 89 years old, right? Yeah, the deal is 2 week on budget reduction. Yep, exactly. Exactly. And you cannot keep kicking the can down the road. You know what I mean? You can't keep doing it. There has to be a point at some point where people go, hey, you know what? This is enough. We're not going to have this. They need to start listening to their constituents. That's what they need to do. Will they? I doubt it. You know. Yeah, they'll never stop paying themselves as long as they have a printing press. Exactly. You know, it is. Like I said, it's just craziness. But like I said, we'll figure out. If they get it passed or not. I'm highly suspect that it will be passed in time. Um, we've defaulted before, and it's gone past. And they always end up making a deal. You know what I mean? They always end up making a deal, but I have a hard time believing that they came together that quickly and all of a sudden now they have a deal. Why do families have to work off the budget and those that vote for it get blank checks? Exactly. Yep. Yep. It just I don't know. Like I said, I find it. And Biden gets on there and says we will not default. And again the scare tactics, guys. I mean, and they always go after. Excuse me. They always go after the same groups of people to use to scare you. You know, uh, the elderly. They always use the elderly. They say, oh well, if we default, we won't be able to get those Social Security checks out. And you have people, um, you know, that have worked their whole life and they're depending on that Social Security check. Angela Fleming says it will collapse at some point. You know what? I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I think it's a matter of time. You can't keep. It's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. Morning Light. Where are you? What are you talking about? Where did I go? I'm right here. So I don't know what you mean. But yeah, I know there's a big push for this digital currency crap. I think the majority of people are against it because it's strictly, you know, um, you can be completely monitored if they go to digital currency. Every transaction that is done, would be doing that. Look up his history as a nurse in New York. And what what are you trying to say, Constance? Let's see. It's no choice after the fiat money goes flat. Well, like I said, and there's another question that I would have: is this being ushered in on purpose, again, to enact more control? You know, that would be morning light. I have been chatting for 8 minutes and no ad had to back out and come back in. Yeah, I'm been here, so I don't know what happened there. Morning light. Juby Joe says by design. Yeah, that don't surprise me honestly. There is the want of complete control. That Yeah, time to troll hunt, JJ. Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. No, I'm not even going to address it because it doesn't make any difference. They're going to do what they're going to do, and it's just whatever. Not going to feed into them, but major rumbling in Ukraine just reported. Okay. I'm a big believer, guys. Again, and I've talked about. Unfortunately, the deal is only tentative, not carved in stone. However, if it eliminates 87,000 IRS agents, great. Yeah, but it's not, Robert. The deal that they got right now has them still there, and that was for a lot of the Republicans. They wanted them out of there. So, but yep. So again, you know what? Whatever's going to happen, guys. Whatever they're going to do, if they're looking to if they're looking to try to exert more and more and more control, it is you know people are going to rebel on that. I think they will. Let's put it like that. I would have hope that there is enough people that would be like, you know what, enough is enough. So, but who knows? At the end, I mean, realistically, I'm going to give a great example. Okay, I'm going to give a great example. We're going to use Jason, Angry Prepper. Okay, and so he had his firehouse, the fire department in New York City, and there was 168 guys. I guess it was something in that number that said, "Nope, we're not going to take this." Right? There was this group of guys. They said, "Nope, under no circumstances are they going to take it." Blah 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 blah. And what ended up happening at the end, because they were threatened with their jobs and everything else, most of them took it. Most of them took it. I think Jason and two or three others, that's it, uh, that did not. And Jason ended up retiring, as we all know, from the police department early because he had enough time in where he was able to do that. Jason stood by his principles. Jason stood by his morals. Okay, most people, this is reality. Most people are not going to. They may say that they will. They may say that, yes, they're not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. And when it comes right down to it, they're going to comply. They're going to do what they're told. They're not going to make waves because they're just not going to. And so, again, you have to make a decision at some point. At some point, when is enough enough? Now, I am not ever going to say that we should overthrow anything. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want to be misrepresented in that. But you have to make a stand at some point. You have to make a stand at some point. But yeah, spineless folk out there today nowadays. You're right. I wonder how many Americans really know what's going on with this debt ceiling. They don't. That's actually a good question. Most people have no clue. They have no clue. You know, none whatsoever. You know, and like I said, it's just it's sad. You know, it's sad, and who knows what's going to happen moving forward. You know, I don't think Biden will be the candidate come 24. I really don't, even though he said he's going to run for reelection. There's a lot of dissension in his own party about having him be the candidate to run in 24. So I mean, there's a lot of road between now and election day to see what happens. There's a lot, you know. Will it be Trump? Will it be DeSantis? Or will it be somebody that we didn't expect to come out and be the guy or woman that everybody goes, hey, that's who we're getting behind. You know what I mean? And Midway Farms, I am a blood and never wore a mask neither. There you go. You know, you like I said, you have to make a stand at some point. And we've seen, realistically, guys, we've seen how things will go when they put the pressure on you. How many people stayed, you know, pure and didn't give in, and were, you know, and do as you were told. And like I said again, I've said before, and I'll say it again. I don't care if you did it. I don't care if you didn't do it. It is an individual choice, but I don't believe that anybody should tell somebody else what they have to do to make somebody else comfortable. That's what I feel, and that's just my take on it. So, you know, off topic, would you trust buying a used travel trailer, or would you buy new? Well, you can definitely get a better deal on a used one, but you're going to have to make sure it doesn't have leaks, and you know that it's in pretty good shape. Depends on how old it is. Would be definitely be a factor. You know, you have to make that choice. Like with buying Heather a car, we were not going to buy a brand new car. I would not do that because the minute you drive it off the lot, the value of that car goes down substantially. So, you know, that's why, and then we got a better, inspect it over very carefully. Yes. Yep, good advice, 80K man. But, you know, we got a better deal with getting a used car for Heather. So, those who understand interest receive it, those who don't pay it. I like that. That's actually pretty funny. So, and I got my little babies right here. That's what I'm over here. I'm petting her. Used cars today cost more than new ones. Not necessarily. We actually got a really good deal on Heather's car. Really, really good deal. So, you know, I know she was happy. I was happy, and you know, now she has her car, and you know, like she went out today, and she's like, "I'm going to go out to do laundry." So, you know, like just making excuses to be able to go out, which I don't blame her. You know, now she has that independence. She can do, you know, what she wants when she wants. She doesn't have to rely on anybody else to take her anymore. So that's a great thing. That's a great thing. And but anyway, uh, what? Pay attention. They're just getting the army ready. Oh yeah, no. You know what? They can call martial law and suspend the Constitution. Yep. Oh yeah. So here's that, well, let's address that, Lynn. That's a good point. If martial law is declared, okay, may I assist you, ma'am? Can I be of assistance? If martial law is declared, the Constitution is suspended. Remember that, okay? And you have no rights. What does that mean? If you're shadowing, I'm not getting the light. You're blocking my light, dear. Do I get a smooch? Come here. Hey, here. Kiss. Kiss. Thank you. Thank you. Good girl. Um, she's a little petite flower. I actually saw her sister today. I went over and saw, and we'll go back to this in a second, get a point back on in a second. But I was over and I saw, my buddy there. And so his daughter had, okay, you got to go down, baby. His daughter has her sister, and her sister is like so small. And I look at Hella and I go, she's a freaking horse. So, but anyway, going back to suspending the Constitution, if martial law is enacted, and they can make martial law happen anytime they want to and use any excuse to make martial law happen. Remember that as well. A cyber attack, right? Oh my God, we have to put in martial law to try to control things and keep things squared away. When martial law is enacted, you have no rights, none whatsoever. So they can arrest you without due process. They can lock you up for as long as they desire, and there's nothing you could do about it. There is no free speech then. So if you want to go out and protest, and they said, yes, they can take your weapons. Absolutely, Don. If they, if you're out protesting and they tell you to disperse, and you say no, I have the right to protest, you don't. You don't. If martial law is enacted, and your food, they can take everything. They can take all of your supplies that you have. If they feel that they need your gasoline, your propane, whatever the case may be, yes, they can come in and take it. Now, I will put this out there. And I think that I may speak for, martial law would focus on the cities. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. It would be very, very difficult to do. So people said to me, there's not enough that they could do martial law over the whole country. And I agree with that. I do agree with that to a point. Okay. You can stop highway travel, right? You can close down cities. That would not be difficult to close down cities. Where do the majority of the people in this country live? They live in the cities. So if you control the cities, right? You control the food production, say on the West Coast. You control the roadways. So there would be no interstate travel or anything like that. You're not getting anywhere, without having your papers or whatever they decide that you need to have. I mean, so they could severely restrict you. They could enact a curfew. And if you defy the curfew, you could be locked up. I mean, that's realistic. That is realistic. And so again, they will use the UN blue helmets. No, I don't agree with that. I mean, I don't see that. Also, blue helmet would be a nice target, to be honest with you. Realistically. Yeah, highways are built for the military. Exactly. So if they, why do you think? I want you to think about this. Like, so you're coming up to your exit, right? So a lot of times there is, like, if you're going, let's see. Okay, we'll use I-90 up here in New York. So you're going on I-90 and you're going to go to 81, right? You're going to go to 81 because now you're taking I-90 and you're going to either go up to Watertown or you're going down to Corning. Not Corning, Cortland College. There's a loop. Every time when there's an exit like that, there's always a loop. Why is that? Do you know why there's a loop every time when there's an exit? Because that's a point where you can't ram it. You can't just try to drive through and get through. It's a choke point. It's a spot where they can set up and they can slow you and stop you. Those are all done on purpose, folks. Now, it's great to be on I-90 and it's a straight shot and you're driving and great, okay? But when you go to get off, there's always that turn, the roundabouts. Yes, same with the roundabouts. Same thing. And so they have those designed that way for a reason. That's designed that way for a reason. Trust me, when I'll put it like this, when they decide that they have had enough of us, they'll do what they're going to do. And you screaming and yelling and doing all that is going to change absolutely nothing. I'm going to tell you again. So I want you to understand how simple, realistically, this control could be enacted. Okay. So they just is because like people say, oh well, it will never work because there's too much country and people can't, they wouldn't give in. So let's do a scenario. All right. They've enacted martial law, and they said you need to come in to these different places, and you need to turn in your weapons or whatever the case may be. We're just using this as a hypothetical, okay? And you're out there and you live in the country and you're like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to comply. So what do? Right? What can they do? They can't be everywhere, right? They can't be everywhere. So you cut the power off. How many people are prepared long term to be in a grit down situation? So if you're in that isolated mountains or wherever, and now you have no power, you can't drive, you can't go out of there. I mean, you can drive probably locally in your neighborhood. Water, obviously, propane would be shut down. That's why we're preppers, exactly on a mission for truth. That's exactly right. So you cut those things and you isolate those people. Well, guess what? Just a little thing so you understand. People are still going to get sick. People are still going to get hurt. They're going to need to go to doctors. Look at how many people go to doctor's appointments on a daily basis, folks. All right, there's a lot of people that go for regular appointments for whatever ailment's bothering them. Not everybody is in tip-top perfect health. That's reality. So if they're controlling that, you're gonna have to come out at some point. All right, and I've used this point before. You have a child, and you're, as a parent, okay? Because I know what I would do as a parent. Okay, you're gonna do anything that you can to protect and save your children. If your children or your child has something major happen and they need a doctor, and they say, well, if you come in, we can give that loved one of yours help, the health care that they need. You're going to do it, guys. You're going to do it, or somebody in your family is going to do it. And I got a brother-in-law. He goes to the doctor every week or more. That's one something. Yeah, but one doctor. Oh, I got you. Okay. Yep, I got you, Delbert. Yeah, that's one. Exactly. So you have people that are going all the time. And will there be holdouts? Yeah, there'll be holdouts. Absolutely, there'll be holdouts. But they don't care about you because they'll isolate you. They'll cut you off. And then you're on your own. Okay. And at some point, when they have everything else under control, right? When they have the cities under control and the people are under control, they will control the food, the delivery, the shipment of food. They can easily do that as well. I mean, and fuel and whatever else, that you need to think about that. So it really would not be that hard to bring the majority of the people in this country to heal. It really wouldn't be. Now, granted, I will give you the fact that there are a lot of preppers that have been preparing for a long time. Gloria said, my brother's on dialysis 4 days a week. Exactly. So, he's going in because he wants to live, So, but again, it can be done. And people say, oh, nope, it's too big. There's no way. There's not enough people to be able to do it. It can be done. It absolutely can be done. And then what they can do when they've made, once they control the other parts and that's under control, and you send the teams out to control different areas. You know what I mean? So, but again, yeah, hide in the mountains, that's great. But, if you have somebody coming up there and, yeah, will there be fights? Absolutely there will be. Absolutely there will be. But you know what? In the long run, it's going to be very difficult to win those battles. And it could take years. You know what I mean? It could take years. So that's just something to think about. What are we at? 444. Oh, you know what? I did not ask Becky about what the egg count was. I'm going to text her really quickly before we get to that point. Man, it's been a while since I texted my sister. All right, we'll do this another way. Okay. All right. I just sent her a text. So hopefully she'll get back to me in enough time before we have to do that part. But again, um, being a prepper puts us in a better position than the average bear, which I 100% agree with. But if our own government turns against us, it's going to be very, very difficult. I'm just telling you that right now. Uh, you know, so be as ready as you can be. Be prepared to do what you need to do. But that was quick. Okay. We have an answer. All right. So, um, but like I said again, prepping is important. I believe prepping is important. I think we should be prepared to deal with whatever we have to in whatever situation, be it an attack from a foreign entity, being it an attack by our own government, be it a natural disaster or something to those effects as well. Anything that's going to affect you directly or your family, those things happen, and those are not going to stop happening. So, that's something to think about. And I think it's important. Like I said again, I think it's important that we try to do the best that we can. Um, you know, so with what I just told you, right? It would be easy to say, "Well, we can't win, so I give up." I'll never give up. I don't have that in me. That is not. Um, yeah, no guessing till it's time. Right? I know all you guys putting an egg count. First of all, you're way early. And none of them count until I say so. So, but I just had to get the count ahead of time. That was all. But uh, yeah, if you're not tagged, you're labeled a terrorist. Yeah, I mean, if you, I mean, look what they're doing now. Realistically, look what the government is doing right now, right? There is a certain group of people that are right wing. They're being labeled as agitators and troublemakers and stuff like that. And I wouldn't doubt, myself, Angry Prepper, anybody that's on here that is telling you to be prepared to get ready. I'm sure we're on those lists as well because we're agitators. We are going against what the approved narrative is, right? We encourage you to be as independent as you possibly can be. I mean, I know that's a horrible thing. It's a horrible, horrible thing, but it is, it is what it is. So you have to think about, you have to plan the best way that you can. You have to prioritize what is important, and that's all we can do. And we prepare that way when the time comes. Uh, you know, there's not going to be the perfect scenario of SHTF. It's a nice summer, beautiful day, and everything is great. And all of a sudden, something happens, and we got plenty of time. No, I bought a green tea up here, Shannon. I didn't get a chance to go and pick up anymore. I've been, doing other things, and So I never ended up going to the store to get any for up here. When I go back to West Virginia, I have my green tea down there. I got it stashed up and ready to go. So I will be back to drinking green tea. So tonight I'm drinking. I got Diet Coke and I got my water. So, but uh, but anyway, you know, we just do the best that we can. And when the time comes, we will deal with it at that situation. Most likely, the most likely scenario that I've saw um, that would happen if like I said, if I was somebody looking to cause chaos, it would be in the middle of winter, and it would be a grid down situation because that's going to be your highest casualty count in the long run. Because again, most people are not prepared. I mean, you look at the numbers. The numbers. Um, Come on now, don't be dissing on Diet Coke. I've been drinking Diet Pop for freaking ever. Probably not good for you. It's probably killing me. But you know what? We're all dying anyway. So I'm gonna drink what I like to drink and eat what I like to eat. And when the time comes, we're all on the same destination. Uh, I can't drink regular Coke anymore. It's too sugary, sickening sweet, and I have a sweet tooth. So yeah. But anyway, we're all on that same journey, and it all ends the same way for us. So I do believe trying to enjoy life as much as you can, be as ready as you can. When the time comes, there's going to be the haves and the have-nots, and I would rather, if you're part of the elite, obviously they're ready, right? And they got a whole lot more money to spend, and so they got all the awesome toys, and they're ready to rock and roll. We are not going to be in that position. The average Joe American citizen, we're not, we're not going to be in that position. We're going to need to be taking care of ourselves and the people that we care about. That's why, like I said, and I've told you guys, all you guys want to be lone wolves out there, I wish you the best of luck. I really do, because you're absolutely going to need it long term. Long term, none of us can, survive long term alone, because you're going to get sick, you're going to get hurt at some point. That's an inevitability, all right? It's an inevitability. So, Mom was just here the other day, Janet. If you go back and watch that video, you'll see her in the video. And Margie's doing well. Also, she's doing okay. So, uh, I'm sure there's plenty of rich folks living in the clouds unprepared. Oh, I guarantee it. They're more concerned about what the next TikTok video that they're gonna be watching and those type of stuff. There's a lot of rich people that haven't got a clue in the world, but those in the know, those that there was just I just was reading Josh Duhamel. I don't know if you guys remember who he is. He was married to Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas for like 9 years. I think they were together. They share a child together. He's a prepper. He's a prepper, which I thought was pretty wild when I saw that. So there are people, like I said, with all walks, but those type of people, they have the money that they can really truly invest in things, and in those type of things, which is great. Good for them. I don't begrudge anybody. If you can prep and you got the money to do it, awesome, do it. Some of us can't do it that way, and I think, like I said again, I think it's really, really, oh, excuse me. I think it's really, really important that we work together, that we band together. And to me, prepping, people want to put a negative connotation on it and all that type of stuff. And I've heard all the crap. Oh, you're just hiding in the mountains waiting for the end of the world to happen. No, not really. But thank you for thinking that. You have no idea. Okay. To me, prepping is about peace of mind. Okay. Because if I go to sleep tonight, I know that myself and 5% of the people are prepared for any kind of disaster. Any kind of disaster. We're prepared the best that we can be. Probably not 100%, but we're in that 5%. 95% of the people, if they wake up tomorrow and the world has changed, and I do believe that that's how quickly it would happen. I really do. I think it's going to be one day we're going to be fine, the next day we're going to wake up to chaos. And I think it'll be that quick. And that's just my opinion. I can't say what that's based on. I see that happening that way. But those people are going to be losing their mind. 95% of people are going to be losing their mind because they have no plan. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to react to whatever has happened. Okay. They just don't. There is no thought process of, okay, what am I going to do now? You know, they're not ready for a 2 week disaster, let alone something that would be much longer. As preppers, as people living off grid, as people trying to be as independent as we can be, growing as much of our own food as we can, and those type of things, we have a huge advantage, you know. And at how many people have all their supplies in one place? A lot of people have all their supplies in one place. You're right, and and so that's a good point. Let's say you have your home, right? You have your home, and all of your supplies are in your home. You haven't put any into an outbuilding, right? You don't have any at another location. You don't have those things in place just in case. Well, guess what? Your house burns down, and there goes all your supplies. Everything that you had is gone. You know what I mean? All what you have is gone. So I'll give you an example. In West Virginia, I have supplies in the shipping container. I have supplies in the blue house. I have supplies in the battery room. I have supplies in the camper. So, if there is a building on my property, and yes, when the pavilion is completed, and they were there, the guys are laughing and joking with me, and they're saying, yep, as soon as we get space up there, Ed's going to be jamming it full of stuff. And they're right. They're right. They're not wrong. Um, you know, I will utilize every inch of space that I can to have supplies. So if something happens to one building, I have other options. Obsects. I know what you're saying, JJ, but I'm a bit off the beaten path, and I think that And okay, so here's the beauty of this too. Do people know where I am that I don't want to know where I am? Of course they do. And I know that. But now, you know, when things go sideways, you're going to be lucky to be able to get out of your own towns, let alone come and thinking you're going to take something from somebody else. That's the reality. And the reality is, if you come to that spot thinking you're going to take what that person has, they're not a prepper for no reason. They're prepared for that. So you have to think about that as well. So, but, that's just, yeah, my location is off the beaten path. Unless you know exactly where it is, you would go by and never know it was there. That's the reality, So, you know, people can talk. I mean, I know there was talk in one of the live streams, and I did want to address this too. I wanted to address this too. There was talk in one of the live streams, and afterwards, people were saying to me, "Oh, well, this person said their group is not preparing. What they're doing is they're, getting all the locations and knowing where preppers are. Like, Southern Prepper One, myself, possibly Jason." But he's in New York City, so that's really not an optimal place that you're going to want to go afterwards. Are you wearing hair extensions for your beard? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I do that all the time because it grows so slowly. Actually, I'll tell you what, you're going to be seeing soon as it gets a little bit longer. I got my runes and stuff that somebody had sent me. Actually, I could show you real quick. Hold on. Let me see if they're up here. I got them up here. Of course, at the moment, I don't know where they are. Is that them? Let's see. Yes. All right. So These were sent to me, and I'll show you the bag first. These were sent to me by a subscriber, and just pop this open, and I will show you. So these will be going in my beard fairly soon. If I could get this thing open. Hella, what's going on here? Why is this not cooperating? Why is it not cooperating? All right. There's all kinds of these guys. There's, if you see the, I'll just show you like the bag there. All kinds of them. And they have the different, let's see, here we go, symbols on them and stuff like that. And it's, you put that up into your beard. And so I will be doing that. So what happened last time, actually these got sent to me when my beard was really long. And what ended up happening was, if you guys remember, that, yeah, Captain Lou Band. No rubber bands like that. I'm not putting them in my cheeks. But when I had it last time and somebody had sent me these, it was after that I was helping my sister get her fire going, and I burned up my beard. So I ended up having to trim it down. So. Oh, Heather's boyfriend shaved his head. Yeah, he shaved his head. He wants to fit in. He's got to fit in with me and Rick. So, and there's Mr. Caesar right there. So, but anyhow, if I can, dog hair everywhere. No, he just looks like me. Well, he's a freaking handsome dude then, ain't he? Darn. Oh my gosh, yes, we're past egg count time. All right, so I apologize. I just all of a sudden looked up. So before we start that, so it doesn't start until I say go. So don't be putting your guesses up yet. We got 446 in the chat. We're at 261 on the thumbs up. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithms too. So the more interaction, the better for the channel. So thank you. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So thank you ahead of time. All right. So now, see, and people are still guessing anyway. But that's okay. That's okay. How many eggs today? And yes or no for Miss Thickneck starting now. So go ahead and get your guesses up there, and we will go from there. Okay. A bunch of were right together. We're like all right at the same time. But there is a clear winner. So we will give you guys a moment, and we will go from there. So I'm going to get a drink in the meantime. All right. If you had the same exact guess, is Okie Forge. Okie Forge with 8 eggs today, and yes for Miss Thickneck, then you are 100% correct. So congratulations to Okie Forge. You've won absolutely nothing. But bragging rights until the next live stream. She wants to come by, and Caesar's in the way. I know, baby. What happened? Is he blocking you from coming here? Is he blocking you? My poor little petite baby. My poor little girl. And there was a whole bunch of you guys. I had to go back, and there was like 4 of you right in pretty quick that had all the. Sharon Barrett was one of them, I think, had the same guess. So, yeah. What, baby? What? You're okay. You're okay. Okay, now you got to go down because I can't. You're blocking the light. She looked me right in the ear. All right, so let us move on. No more coming up. Nope, that's it. That's it. Don't put your paw up here. You're not coming. You're not doing it. See, now I don't want her to do it. Now she wants to come up. It's amazing. Like I said, I saw her sister today, and went over to see my buddy John, and he had, his family was there, and it was nice to see them. And his one daughter has, like I said, her sister. Okay, and the size difference is like unbelievable. The size difference. Hella is so much bigger. Hella is actually bigger than her mother, but I guess the father was quite the large dog. He was quite a large dog. So, and I guess some of her brothers are quite big as well. But of all the females, um, she ended up being the biggest one. So I definitely, I'm telling you guys, if you like it or you don't like it, I don't really care. I am going to breed her. I'm absolutely going to breed her, and I'm probably going to keep at least two of her puppies. So, uh, the father was, now, JJ, family friendly, JJ, family friendly. So, um, but so anyway, the bees are doing great down there. Steve was, because he had called me and he's like, yeah, they weren't doing the whole jars, and like every day I haven't changed it. And I said, well, what's the weather, been like down there? And he goes, well, it's been cooler and it's overcast. I go, that's why. I said, as soon as the sun starts coming out, they'll start banging through it. And I guess the last few days before today, the sun was out, and he was like, yeah, they're going through like a jar a day. And I knew they would. I knew they would. So, I had, there was 11 jars that I prepared for him ahead of time. And so what's next for the well? Oh, CD, great question. I can definitely address that. But anyway, there's plenty of for the bees. They're doing well. When I get back, I'll definitely inspect. I'll do a video, and I'll show what the hive is doing and what it's looking like and stuff like that. So we'll definitely show you that. Okay, so uh, next for the well. The well's in. It's there. The only thing that I have to do for the well right now is if I put a plug, the wire's there, so it's just a matter of putting the plug on. It's a 220 pump, so it's going to have 220, and so I would use one of my generators to pump the water. We're going to have to run a line to a holding tank, and we want to do that higher up in the meadow. So we have to figure out what size holding tank we want to get to utilize for that. If we get, I don't know, 500 pound. I mean, the totes are great, and those are great for rain collection and stuff like that. But for a holding tank, I would like to have, but here's the thing: when you're going to get a holding tank, you're looking at $1 a gallon, basically. So if it's a 1,500 gallon holding tank, you're looking at about $1,500 to buy that tank. So those are things that we have to, think. Yeah, you probably need a 1,500 gallon tank. Yeah, for the amount of people, to utilize also for watering once we get the greenhouses and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, um, that's one of the things we're going to be doing. But yeah, it'll be piped up the hill, and then there'll be that holding tank will be up there somewhere at the top, so then it can be gravity fed down into the upper meadow, and then also down into the lower meadow as well. So yeah, in a way to keep it from freezing. Yep, it would have to be partially buried. To be honest with you, that's like the holding tank that I have out here. I have 1,000 gallon tank out here that we use for water, and you pull the lid off, and the water's right there, and it never freezes. So, but it's got that thermal mass from the earth protecting it. So, but yeah, we could you know bury it up to a certain point, and that would absolutely work as well. So, and it wouldn't freeze then. The pipes would freeze in the wintertime if you're trying to utilize them, and it's really, really super cold, obviously. But if you had the pipes buried, that's going to, but again, then you're looking at a whole different dynamic, uh, you know. So I got the 1,500 gallon. Thanks. It was well worth it to have that little extra water. Oh, I don't disagree. I think that would, no, 80K man. If we have the tank partially, mostly buried. Let's say we buried it mostly. Okay. Um, are you doing a gravel field for gray water? That's something that we're going to be working on as well. There's a lot of things that have to be done and worked on. So yeah, there's we have to figure everything out as we're going. It's one thing at a time, guys. I mean, right now, you know, the water, the well, I don't need that well water yet. So I mean, I have the plug. If we needed to put a plug on, I got the plug. So that's not like we don't have a plug. We have the generators, so those things are not an issue. And but it's going to be something that we're going to have to work at, and it's just going to be it's going to take time. That's what it's going to be. It's going to take time. And there's a lot of other things going on right now. Obviously, we're focusing on the pavilion. We're going to be this month coming up. We're going to be working on putting the floor in the pavilion because we want to make sure that once we get into next winter, that we have something off the ground, obviously, that we can go into. We already have the wood stove. We're going to get that all hooked up and be in a position where we can be out of the weather, we can be warm, we can eat, and do that. And but it's a process. It's a process, but it's coming together. I just think as you continue to watch, you're going to continue to see what we're doing. This month, Buzz is bringing 10 more fruit trees down. So, and he's going to be bringing more blueberry bushes. So we're going to be having more blueberry bushes in. We're going to have more trees in. That once he gets, the next 10 trees down, now we're going to be up to 20 trees. When he comes in July, he's going to bring 10 more trees. When he comes in August, he's going to bring 10 more trees. And, we may call that it for the year after that, but, that would be 40 fruit trees in there at that point in time. So, it's working on what you can work on, what you can control. So what can we control? Hopefully putting in enough stuff that we have our own food production that's perennial foods. It's going to come back year after year after year. And, that trellis was genius for the cucumbers. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool too, Don. Yep. And a lot of things will grow like that. Actually, peas, if you have them near a fence, they'll grow up like that. I had one year when I was living in the city before I ever became a prepper. I've always had a garden, and we had a garden in the backyard, and we had the fence around the garden because of the dogs. I had Rottweilers, and so we had the cantaloupe had grown up on the fence, and then literally I had these cantaloupes that were like this, hanging, like just like fruit hanging there. And I will tell you this right now, that was the best cantaloupes I've ever had in my life. They were amazing because they weren't laying on the ground. They were hanging. So, I mean, you can trellis cantaloupes, you can trellis cucumbers, anything that's going to grow and spread out. Watermelons, you could do that too. Now, that's kind of a little more difficult because they get pretty good size. But, it's just there's a lot that you can do. You can do a lot. So I think that is awesome. Oh, I didn't think of doing that. I hate the ground ruining them partially. Yeah, exactly. So if they're hanging in cantaloupe, exactly. So, cantaloupes are awesome doing it that way. And then when it's ready, you pick that fruit. Man, I'll tell you, delicious. Absolutely delicious. So, but, yeah, the ground. Okay, once you are under the frost line, guys, this is something to remember too. Once you're under the frost line, so if you are farther north, the frost line is going to be deeper. So you want to be at least 3 foot, like in New York. You want to go at least 3 foot, if not more, under the frost line or down that deep so that your pipes don't freeze. When you get further south, it's not as deep. Probably where I'm at in West Virginia, I think it's like 2 feet, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know 100%. Now, if I'm going to put anything underground, pipes or anything like that, I will go deeper. Just because I would rather have overkill than not have enough and have a chance of pipes freezing and stuff like that. But once you're under that frost line, the ground temperature generally always stays at 58 degrees. It's constant. Doesn't change. Doesn't matter how hot it is. Doesn't matter how cold it is. Under the frost line, the ground temperature is always going to be in that 58-degree zone. And so, that is that's important. So that's why, again, having a bunker, root cellar, whatever you want to call it, having something like that available to you that you can store things, it's climate controlled without having to do anything. 4 feet was the code in Southwest Pennsylvania. Okay, Robert, thank you. Yeah, yeah, it's probably deeper than that up here then. So thermal heating 10 feet or below 74 degrees. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, all right. Well, then I probably am wrong on the depth, because I know that they dug deep trenches here when we put the pipes in. We had the one for the running the water, and the year that we had that really cold stretch, and everybody's pipes were bursting, and there was all kinds of problems. Our pipes never burst. We never had that issue here. And I think I've told this story before as well. I called my plumber, the guy that put in my water system for me, and I called him up and I said, Joel, listen, I'm just calling to let you know, thank you. Everything is awesome, and that it's working great, and I've had no issues. And I'm sure he never really got a lot of calls like that. He got a lot of calls of people complaining. 2 feet in Virginia, in West Virginia. Okay, Midway Farms, thank you. Yep, yep. So, but yeah, so it's just, I would probably, again, I would go deeper than the 2 feet just to be on the safe side. 80 Man says we have pipes at 8 feet deep in the Adirondack that still freeze. Wow. Yeah. Well, you're a lot farther north too, and a lot higher elevation. So I think that makes. Do you plan on laying any concrete at the West Virginia property? In the bunker, yes. Healthier health. In the bunker, yes. As far as the pavilion, no. Nope. So, yeah, to lay out and pour concrete in that whole area for the pavilion would be hugely expensive. So we already have a plan of what we're going to do, as far as the pavilion goes. So, yeah. So that is that. So, all right, let's do some shout outs. So again, we're going to start out with Icky Can up in Canada, doing his thing up there. I would ask you to please support him. Then you have Jason, which is Angry Prepper, down in New York City. There is Rudy, Alaska Prepper, up in Alaska. You have Alaska Granny. There is Sean James with the Sean James channel and Myself Reliance. 2 different channels, same guy. Definitely show him some support too. You have Bjorn Hansen. There is Corporal's Corner, another couple of good channels. You have there's Prep Rebel. Your Ryan Hall Y'all with the weather, another good guy. Definitely somebody you should support. Wrangle Star, that's Cody. You have Marfugal News, Adam and Dax out on the West Coast. There is the Nomadic Movement down in Panama. You have the Deep South Homestead. Mary Greeley News giving you all the updates with Yellowstone and everything there. You have Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. There is the Green Dream Project. They are in Arizona. You have Kyle's Cabin, Kyle and Sierra up in Minnesota. There's Pinball Preparedness down in Tennessee, Little House Off Gritty. There is Boss of the Swamp. There's the Needy Homesteader. You have, now I'm starting to not get them. Simple Life Reclaimed, yep. There is, the Appalachian Homestead with Patera. Southern Prepper 1 with his Boots on the Ground series. Prep Rebel, Townsend's. So again, there is a tremendous amount of channels out there. There's a lot of really good information. There is, it just popped into my head. Oh, God. And now it's gone. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Magic Prepper in North Dakota. Yes, that was who I was thinking. It was there and then it was gone. So that's too funny. But a lot of good information, a lot of good channels. I think that it is Ed, EDK Man heading out tomorrow, truck camping for a few days. Oh, very nice. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time, man. Have a good time. But Russell Brand. I didn't say Russell Brand. I really like Russell Brand as well. He gives you his perspective, and you can believe it or not, and that's what I like about him. He doesn't tell you what to think; he gives you options, and I think that that's a good thing. So, a lot of good information, a lot of good channels out there. Again, I do believe that we should be supporting each other, and it's important that we do that. So, I guess that will be it on that for now. And when I get back to West Virginia, we'll get back to the list, and I should probably make a list. And somebody said take a picture on your phone, so that's probably a good idea because then I'll have it. Then I'll have it. So, but like I said, there's a lot of good channels, a lot of good information, and I think that we need to look at other people's perspectives. My thinking, because I was raised in a certain area, is going to be different than somebody from an experience in Colorado. Be completely different experience from the person that lives in Arizona. It's a completely different, scenario, different priorities, and that's something that I definitely wanted to address as well. Priorities of where you're located. If you live in places in certain parts of California, if you live in Arizona, you live in Nevada, those type of places, Texas, different places, parts of Texas, water is going to be at a premium. So you better be prepared water wise. I know that the couple down the is it yeah the Green Dream Project, they then you misplace your phone. Yeah, right, exactly. Uh, their priority is water. So monsoon season comes, they collect as much water as they possibly can, and that water gets them through the rest of the year. And I just think that that is a great way to do it. It puts you in a winning position. I know a lot of places, people have water delivered. Well, what happens when you can't do that anymore? You know what I mean? So those are things you need to plan for. You need to think about. If you're in an area, uh, you know, I buy 12 gallons every 2 weeks. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Now I'm going to tell you what. Where I'm at, I don't really worry about water. I don't. I have springs on the property. I have creeks they don't run full time year round, but there's a rainstorm and you got the creeks are running. So, uh, that's a good thing. I have the well in place now as well. There is on the road in. I've showed you guys that spring box. That's year round. There's water in that spring box, no matter how dry it gets. That water's and there's other springs on the road as well. So water is not going to be the major issue. Now, transporting water to where we need it, maybe. Okay. So again, we're going to try to put things in place, use gravity fed to, be able to, in the upper meadow, when we get, from the very top of the hill and then you come down, where we're going to put the greenhouses in there. We will use gravity fed to have the water there so that we can utilize that, to water the plants. So, uh, you know, those are things that are important. Depending on where you are. If you're in a colder climate, you have to prepare for winter. I mean, that's just that is something that is done, something that has to be done, and it's important. So getting enough wood up, and the sooner I always tried, like here in New York, always tried to get the wood in as soon as I possibly could because then it's there. And if things go sideways, then I have about 2 years worth of wood, and that's important. That would take a huge stressor off of us, so that we could focus on other things. And so that's those are things you need to really think about. And I just put in 2 sets of 3 55-gallon rain barrels with a custom-made metal roof, 330 gallons of rainwater for gardens and gray water stuff to save my fresh drinking water supply. Very, very smart. Very, very smart. The more water that you can utilize from rain catchments that you can use for washing up, for washing dishes, for watering plants, you're not taxing your well. And that's what you have to think about. And it's all part of that planning. Everybody does, beans, band-aids, and bullets, right? Those are the big three. Everybody's always so concerned about all that type of stuff. And do you need all three of those? You absolutely do. You absolutely do. But at the same time, other things are just as important, if not more. Again, without fresh water, folks, we got 3 days. 3 days. And I would hate to be in a position where I was someplace in Nevada or Arizona and I had to get out and I had to move and did not have enough water supply to get me to where I needed to go. So, something to think about, something to plan for. If you're in those areas, you have to know what the dangers are and you have to prepare for them accordingly. So I dug a well with hand pump house and drilled well rain catchment for the gardens. Yeah. The more water that you can collect, I'll tell you right now, pavilion, it's a lot of space on that roof to collect rainwater. We will have rain catchments set up with the pavilion. Absolutely 100% yes, we will, because it's that important. And, if you're not utilizing what you have, you're wasting. Mark will eventually set up something down with his cabin. When Dave gets his cabin in, he'll have a rain catchment. When Sandy gets her place built, she'll have a rain catchment. When Buzz gets his place built, so on and so on. Everybody that's building something down there will have rain catchment with their building because they're going to come down, and let's say it's a weekend, right? And you got a 275-gallon tote and it's completely full. Well, now you got your water for the weekend for washing up, for washing your dishes, for your toiletries, whatever else you need it for. It's there. You're not going to go through that in a couple of days. So, but anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. So as we continue to build, we will have a ton of rain catchment everywhere to work on catching that water. So very, very important. And the other thing with your tanks, when you get your rain catchment tanks, spray paint them black. 2 reasons for that. You keep the sun out so you don't build up algae in your water supply. And actually, the black will draw heat, which will make the water warmer. So, those, like I said, those are things that you got to take care of. All right, let's do this. We're at that point. We are Legion because we are many. What are we at? 313 on a thumbs up. I don't know. I don't know what number to put up here. But anyway, let's see what we can get that up to. Let's get that up to at least 350. Let's shoot for 350. If you have not shot that thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. What do we need? 37 to get up to 350. Let's see if we can hit 350. So thank you ahead of time for that. Again, it really makes a huge difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, again, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon for all notifications as well. So we are Legion. We are many. We are all over the country. We are all over the world. Where is everybody from tonight? We have Franklin County, Ohio, the UP of Michigan with Dawn, West Coast of Florida with Kit, BC, Canada with Janet. We got Luke in Georgia, Pipestem, West Virginia with Troy, the Mojave Desert, Bay of Islands, Newfoundland, Canada, Austin, Texas, Waterloo, New York, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. We have Clyde in Inverness, Florida, Troy and Troutman, North Carolina. We got Matt in Texas, Western New York with Karen. We have Georgia's in the house, Missouri and the Ozarks, Blue Ridge Mountains, Braves country, so I was going to say Georgia, East Central Illinois, Campbell, Missouri. We got Texas in the house, Northeast Ohio, Charlotte County, Florida with Gloria, Montreal, Canada. We have with May, somewhere in the Adirondacks with ADK Man, Hale, Michigan with Joe, under my house in Vancouver Island, Prep Rebel, Western New York. We have Nebraska's in the house with Deborah, York, Pennsylvania with Heather, Tucson, Arizona with Angela, uh, Jorge up in Connecticut, Ontario, Canada with Dave, St. John's, Campco with Diane. I think that's in Florida, I believe, Diane. Morning Light in West Virginia, St. Augustine, Florida with Diane. West Central, Ohio. We have Massachusetts again. Omaha, Nebraska's in the house. Southern Cal with Blue Moon. Florida, Tennessee with Juby Joe. We got Arkansas with Richard. So again, guys, we're all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge, huge network of people. Uh, Northeast corner with Frank. Uh, all over the place. There's so many of us. Central Iowa with Robert, and we just got to keep doing what we can do. That's all we can do. That's all we can control. Take care of our business. Try to work together. I would highly, highly suggest again, and I will continue to press this because I think it's that important. Nowhere, Oklahoma with Okie Forge. We got Michigan with Hope King. Group up. Get your group now, because if you don't have a group, you will at some point, and it may not be the type of group you want to be in, but you'll do it because you need to survive. I would rather have the option of choosing the people that I want to be around now, build those relationships, than be in a situation where I have to get my lot thrown in with a group that may be of questionable judgment and character, and somebody else is calling the shots, and it's not the right thing, and it's not the right thing. So those are choices. Hey, there's Olds Mutt, Sullivan County, New York, MIA. That's all right. It happens. But again, do what you can. If you can group up, group up. It ain't going to be like TV, folks. I'll tell you that right now. In a true SHTF situation, it ain't going to be like TV. How many are you looking for your group to be? I'm not putting a cap on it. Band-Aids and beans, or beads. Is it beads and beans? I'm not putting a cap on it. If we get to a point where I think that we have too many, then we probably will. We're just going to see what happens, and we're going to kind of go from there. So we're at 333, so we need another 17 thumbs up. Another 17 thumbs up to get us up to 350, guys. So again, if you have not shot that thumbs up yet, please do so. Let's see if we can hit 350 before we jump off of here. But, again, in a true SHTF situation, the more the merrier, honestly. So if you can have a larger group, I think that that's important that you do that, And what you got to understand, too, is what you're also looking for in a group is diversity. So what do I mean by that? Diversity? What do you mean, Prepper Nurse One? I'm not a carpenter. I've never claimed to be a carpenter. I have guys in the group that are very good at doing carpentering. Now, they claim not to be carpenters, but I will put them up against anybody because they know what they're doing. So that specific skill is important. Me being a nurse, it gives me an advantage because I can do the medical part of what needs to be done and to help people that way. So that's important. Also, you have people that specialize, like Brian, the one guy Brian that had come down and worked on my electrical. That's an asset. Somebody that knows how to do that. Somebody knows the ins and outs of plumbing. That's important. So there is a lot of things. Somebody that can cook. As simple as that. You don't think about that, but somebody that can cook. The difference between a bland, tasteless meal and somebody that knows what they're doing, that makes life a whole lot better. Somebody that can sew, absolutely. You're going to need that. Somebody that knows how to tan hides. I mean, there's so many aspects of it, that it's important. It really, really, truly is. So go outside your comfort zone, guys. Learn different things. I never in my life would think that I would have bees. Never, not in a million years would I. At some point, did it ever cross my mind that, hey, yeah, gardening, you have to have people that know how to garden. Absolutely. I never thought I would have bees, but here I am. I now have bees down at the homestead, and we're going to expand that as the years go by. And so, we'll be, learning and growing and figuring all those things out. And I think that that's awesome. I just think that that's really, really cool. All right. So, anyway, what do we have? Five more. We need five more thumbs up. Come on, guys. We're shooting for 350. Let's see. We'll see if we get five more thumbs up. I want to thank my I can make compost. Yeah, yeah. I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. I do appreciate you guys. You're awesome. Thank you for what you do. It's really, really important, because we want these chats to be fun, and they are, and it's because of the hard work that you guys are doing, keeping people that are being jerks out. So thank you for that. I want to thank all you guys for being here and supporting the channel, and being part of this. And hopefully we can all learn from each other, because that's important. I think that that's really important. So anyway, guys, we are one race called the human race. As soon as we can figure that one out, we truly will be in much, much better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us. Race, religion, political affiliation, these are all stupid little games that don't mean anything. We have to come together and work together. So I think that that's important. And do the bees leave the hive and go to pollinate? Yes, yes, they will absolutely do that. Right now they're in building zone. Right now is what they're building up the hive itself, and they'll continue to do so. And but that's going to be a process. And so, like I said, I don't anticipate getting a lot of honey this year from the bees, but I just that's okay. Uh, you know, we're just going to keep working at it and see what we can do and see where we go with it. Also, remember, guys, to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life, so it's really important to tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only person that is going to stop you from reaching your goals is you. That's it, nobody else. Stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. All right? I will talk to you all later. Be safe, keep prepping, continue to get ready. We blew past it. We're at 360 on the thumbs up, which is awesome. I will see you guys all later. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.